Like, this is called the Pesky Report. Like,
welcome back to the Pesky Report, brought to you by Beyond the Monster. We have a series victory to talk about. We're very excited. The first series victory of the year, and you get to listen to this fantastic weekday show and get caught up on that. So appreciate you hopping in and joining us. This is Matthew, weekday host. This week we've got Isiah and we've got Bayleigh joining us for the first pod of the season as well. So I'll throw it over to you, Bayleigh. How are you doing? And how's your I guess, like, how's the season been treating you so far?
Yeah, well, the season could be better, but at least we get to sit here and talk after a series win against the best team in baseball so far. I know it's a small sample size, but Milwaukee's a good team. We saw what they did to us last year. So to take 2 out of 3 and to have that final game, kind of be like everything we were promised from this team, like good pitching, good defense, situational hitting, all the walks. So like I'm on a high after that one. So, and then I'm really hoping that, going into this next series, we can carry good baseball because that's what we were promised. Good baseball.
Yeah, I'm still fighting to believe we were promised good baseball. I just was hoping that we weren't promised bad baseball, which is what we've been getting up to
A
this
lot
point.
of bad baseball.
Yeah. This was a breath of fresh air. This series was, it felt like we've been trying to doggy paddle back to shore, and we finally started to feel our toes like touching the sand. Like we're not quite back to the shore yet, but hey, I think we're almost there. Like I can tell we're almost to where we want to be. So Isiah, how are you feeling now? How have the vibes? Have the wow has the vibe for you shifted enough with the series victory that you're kind of starting to see the vision, or is this kind of feel like more of a one-off for you and you're still concerned about the overall direction?
I'm not gonna lie. Sunday afternoon, I was at the Sunday game with the Padres and Red Sox, and I was already planning on coming up with excuses on like, sorry, Matt, my summer's busy. This team's ass. I can no longer help you out during the week. But I'm back on board, baby. I mean, yeah, still concerned about the offense, but it was good to see. Really like what I've seen out of Sonny Gray the last 2 games. It's added some nice just umph in the middle of the rotation. Crochet's a dog, and as frustrating as the offense was, like the first 3 series, they couldn't have been that bad for the entirety of the season. So it's nice to see them kind of level out a bit. And I think a big part of that was moving Story down in the lineup, and I'm hoping that's something that continues. So
It's a good call out. I think that was one of the bigger changes going into this series was first off that Story got moved down, but then that after Monday when they lost, he like went into Cora's office and was basically like, no, I need to play tomorrow. Like, trust me, like gotta keep me in there tomorrow. And then they did. Game 2, he ended up having 2 RBIs. Only 1 hit out of the 4 at bats for the game, but still the hit that he had was extremely clutch in that game. So it ended up paying off dividends. But Bayleigh, what's been your take so far on Trevor's Story? I guess while we're talking about it, I know that we've had our ups and downs with him last year, and he went from why is this person even on my our garbage team to he's the best player on our team, the only good player that we have. So where are you at right now in terms of Trevor's Story?
I think it's, as fans, we have to understand that there are going to be like major ups and downs with Trevor Story. And in the end, it's going to end up what it was last year, which is right around a league average baseball player, like from a hitting standpoint. But all I can say is there were things that would drive me up a wall. And I'm glad it was fixed a little bit, at least so far. The core didn't wait longer than I thought. I just thought he was going to be in that 2-hole far longer than, like pretty much a week. So, because like to me, it's the idea of like the whole time we were playing the Astros and you're seeing Yordan Alvarez, and I'm just thinking, man, what's it like to really have an incredible number 2. It's like we knew what that was like, but then we burned that bridge with him, and now he hits for number 2 for the San Francisco Giants. So the idea of like not having a true 2 hitter, or at least trying to be able to like figure out who can hit there. I like the idea of moving Trevor down. I still think 5 might be too high for him, but the egos play into certain things. So it's like, is he gonna be okay with being below 5th? Just like it's like you say, like the idea of him going into the office and saying to Core, hey, I want to play. I would love if he went in there and said, hey, you know what? I really need to play second base. That's what I really
Yeah. I was gonna say he's the whole thing with Story is like he's a very streaky hitter.
Mhm.
And that's who he is, and I'm actually okay with that. But that's like the problem with putting him in the 2 hole is like when that's like, you're the most important batter on the team. You really can't have a guy who's going to suck for a month and then be amazing for a month. Now, if they want to do something where they're like, hey, we've just seen, Story be hot for a week, we're going to move him up. That's fine. But to the last point you made, the most concerning thing regarding Story is his defense right now. Like, if he's going to be a league average hitter and that kind of you deal with the ups and flows, whatever, but he's completely like sinking the Red Sox defense right now, which has actually been pretty good in terms of like defensive runs saved, outs above average. But then you look at the errors and we're like, bottom in the league. And it's largely due to like the 4, I think it's 4 like atrocious errors that Story's had.
and they're all
rough.
throwing too.
Yeah, and then you see Meyer just slinging darts, like like running to his right, past second base across his arm, and it's like, dude, we're like, what are we doing here?
Well, they have him positioned like basically right behind second base all the time.
Yeah.
So like the gap between him and Story, they already know Story has basically no range. So that entire right side of the infield's open almost every single play because of where they have Marcelo playing just to be able to field those balls and field that position. And so to that point, you've seen him making shortstop plays consistently because he's just going right over to where Trevor Story, practically is to field that ball and then make that throw.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that all the errors that Story's had, that's not even counting. Like there was a pop-up that he dropped where it like fell right behind him or something like that. That wasn't even counted as an error. I think that was back in like the first or second series of the year. But it's not looked great defensively. And I remember how this shows you how far we've come in some ways. Because in 2023, when Story was hurt, wait, was that 2023 at this point? Might have been 2024 when he got hurt. And the defense at shortstop was just so bad. And we were like, oh, man, if only we had Story back. If only we had Story back. Like, he had solidified the infield defense. And we talked about, like, how much better it was. And then he forced himself back sooner than missing the entire year. He came back in September. And he came back and he was great in the field. And we were thinking, like, oh, my gosh, imagine if we had Trevor Story for the whole season defensively. And that was just how poorly everyone else had played. I mean, we had David Hamilton out there at shortstop, and Cedar Rafaela was playing shortstop at one point too. But like everyone kind of forgets that that's what we had. And now we have an even better defensive shortstop. And we're just kind of still stuck on like, I don't know if the team is stuck on Trevor Story. I know that they've come out and they've said before that their internal metrics view him as one of the best shortstops in all of baseball last year before like September or something like that.
That's actually crazy to believe. But if it's there, if it's in, black and white and there's evidence, but oof.
I mean, we watched it. Like, where's the evidence?
What metrics are we using here?
Yeah.
Vibes? Are those the metrics? Or just vibes?
Yeah, they're like, well, we don't want to piss him off or something. But the idea is like he signed here to play second base, so we didn't piss off, Xander Bogaerts, and then Xander Bogaerts left. So it's like he has played second base for the Red Sox before, and I know it's a completely different story now, pun intended. Nope. Like, so the idea is like, would he? Or is he the type of guy that it's like, all right, I see that, we've been struggling, but I understand that this team can really make a run at it and do I bite the bullet to play second because I really want to win? It's like who is like Trevor Story as a team player? Like we hear that he's like, he has his story camp and he's this guy that everybody likes, but it's like, maybe show that to us and say, I'm going to play second base.
Yeah, I think, I mean, Matt, you're right. It's important to note that that was 2024. And then, Trevor Story was 31. He's 33 now, it's 2 years of aging and 2 years of actually playing baseball, for a full season. I do feel like he's a pretty selfless guy if I were, from everything I've kind of grew from, his interviews and stuff. And I think, if it is Meyer moving over to short, I feel like, and this is all just off vibes, that it wouldn't be the hardest conversation to have based off hey, dude, you've been here for a bit. You're getting older. We've already seen you play second and you're good at it. And you're a good fielder, but your arm's cooked. We can all watch it. And you got a pretty good relationship with this young, stud shortstop Meyer that's come through the system. You got to see him, over the last couple of years at Story Camp. I'm hoping that'd be a relatively easy conversation rather than, hey, Story, we're moving you off second, so you put IKF there, and then say, okay, well, that's just disrespectful, But it's hey, it's a future, cornerstone of our franchise. You're doing us a solid,
Although it is pretty funny that they did move him off the field in place of Monasterio and IKF on the finale game. So I did think that was pretty funny. IKF, by the way, shout out. He is currently batting. Actually, does anyone want to guess his batting average without cheating? IKF.
I couldn't even fathom.
I know he had a bunt.
That's true. He did have a nice bunt.
125.
It's lower.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
It's 091.
Jesus Christ. $6 million. I would love to get paid $6 million to be that bad at my job. Honestly, please, somebody pay me that.
In his defense, Monasterio is only batting 1. So he's batting 091 and Monasterio is batting point or 0. What is it? 0.1 is his batting average.
Yes, but Monasterio has a little bit of slug on him. I think Monasterio had a double, right?
Mm-hmm.
He does have a 508 OPS compared to IKF's 258 OPS. So little different OPS going on there for Monasterio. Monasterio also walked 3 times in the game, so that helped.
That's right. Yeah, those were good at bats too.
Having both Monasterio and Isiah Kiner-Falefa on this team is just proving more and more how poorly constructed this roster is. And that's the thing. It's people can yell at Cora. I've done the whole I got real pissed and I was fire everybody, but I'm really reactionary. That's just me. And then tomorrow I'll be let's win the World Series. But that's who I am. But the idea of people shitting on Cora when what is he supposed to do? This is just the gross is how I feel, in a bad way with the construction of this roster. And that just comes down to this offseason and Craig just not getting it done. You're not playing who the people you should be playing, I think. And I know Cora's guy usually is Duran, and Duran struggled against lefties a little bit last year, but it's the idea is he should be out there all the time, and Ceddanne should be sitting more. But then you have Ceddanne playing Gold Glove center field, so it's this just. He didn't just trade somebody, so now it's Cora's hands are tied and fans are getting pissed, and it's just so messy.
Yeah, and if you're not going to play Duran at the beginning of the year, then why did you ask for these absurd trade packages all offseason?
Right?
And have him as the 4th outfielder.
Absolutely.
If you're we've seen the best of Duran, we want to move forward, then, don't try to ask for Cole Reagans and, a bag of toothpicks, it's crazy.
I will say, because I know you're the certified Rafaela hater on the pod there, Bayleigh. But Rafaela, we got to give him his flowers. He is the 2nd highest batting average on the team right now at a 324, and his OPS is 790 on the season so far. So he is actually outside of Willier, our 2nd best hitter currently.
Dude, who would have thought that Rafaela's offense has been better than his defense so far?
Yeah, because he took even though apparently that was what, a 60% catch probability. The route he took to it was so strange that it made it look like that was an impossible ball to catch, but apparently it wasn't. So I don't know, because I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh.
It's tough. It's tough to not overreact sometimes a little bit with like with defense at the beginning of the year. I remember like Bregman was airmailing like all of April last year.
Yeah.
And he's just like, dude, it's cold as shit, So stuff like that, I'm hoping, they turn that stuff around. I'm not worried with Rafael's defense after what he did in his career.
No.
Speaking of outs above average, though, I will say shout out to Wilson Contreras for leading all second basemen right now in baseball with 2 outs above average.
First.
Yeah. That's really the only positive we have going on right now on the defensive side. Although Wilyer Abreu is 1 out above average in the positives there. Which,
you're not worried about him. Like the right side, like our right and center, I'm not worried about. We need to worry about what in the hell is going on with Noodle Arm Anthony, apparently, because what is going on? It was just Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's like when it's a pressure throw, like people have been saying, it seems like he can't get the throw under pressure, but when it's not, he'll like be fine. So is it the yips? Is it he's just not as good of an outfielder as we thought? I think he's been DHing way too much. Like you can't be having a 21-year-old DH in this much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's positioning when he throws the ball is way off. Like tons of people have pointed this out and looked at his mechanics, but like his feet and his body and his center of his body when he goes to release it is wherever the ball ends up. So like when he's hucking it and it goes way off to the right of the catcher and you like pause the video when he's releasing it, you can look and see that his front foot is pointed like where the ball ended up, and the center of his body pointed right there. So he's just not lining up correctly. And then in a couple of the other throws that were like super weak, he was like standing upright when he threw it, like almost like he had no momentum charging that ball forward. So I don't know if it's like because of the back injury that he had last year, if that's impacting things, because I can't remember who said it. I heard it on someone else that was talking about him after last series, and they were like, you don't go through the type of, was it an oblique injury that he had last year?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty nasty one.
I feel like that's what it was. And obviously it cost him a month of the year. And so you don't go through something like that without it potentially having impacts, in other areas of your game that you don't necessarily notice. And one of those things could be in how he plays his defense in the outfield. I don't know if it's preparation or whatnot, but there was also something else interesting here. And this was from Red Sox Stats. And he posted this around, it was max throwing velocity from all of the outfielders. And let me see if I can find it right now. Ironically, in 2026 so far, Wilyer and Roman have the highest max throw speed at 91 miles an hour. The slowest is 81 miles an hour. That's Jarren Duran. That's his maximum throw speed.
Oof.
So when you talk about like where they fall in there, it goes Wilyer and Roman can throw 91 miles an hour from the outfield. Then you got Sadon at 87, Masataka Yoshida at 83, and then Jarren Duran at 81.
I cannot believe Masa can throw the ball faster than 70 miles an hour. I refuse to believe it. That's incredible.
Yeah. So it's just interesting that like it doesn't, like the noodle arm thing is kind of interesting. I feel like it's less about the actual arm strength, and I truly think it's mechanical for him based on some of the other stats.
Well, maybe that's something that he could be working on with Hudson, because it's like it just feels like this since like 2019 we've been, I think, the worst defensive team errors wise, and it's just so fundamental, and it's like it's ingrained from down all the way to the top, and it's like, do we just need a complete overhaul of people that care about making this organization great? And it starts with Henry and him just sitting there and saying, "Oh, sell the team," and like laughing it off. It's like, yeah, it's easy to laugh that off when you're a billionaire and you own the Boston Red Sox, and no matter what, people are going to come to Fenway because it's the oldest ballpark and it's a historical landmark. So, yeah, you'd be laughing if like you owned the Pittsburgh Pirates and nobody's going to show up to PNC Park, even though it is gorgeous. Go to PNC Park, beautiful, highly recommend. But it's like you own something that people want to see, even if the product is shit. So he's just a businessman, and it sucks that it's just being run by a business like head rather than somebody who cares to win anymore. And it's frustrating. And this is the product we get because of it. It's just messy.
Yeah, I'm not overly too concerned about Anthony. I agree with Matt that it's I think it's largely mechanical, and that may be due to like the absolute insane amount of pressure that we're putting on a 21-year-old
ridiculous
to like anchor the fucking Boston Red Sox. After like also we have a pretty high payroll right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that he still is anchoring our lineup is like it's incredible. So we, they didn't even get to play spring training. So you recovered from an injury, a pretty bad oblique, after being thrust in the middle of the lineup last year. Bummed he can't play in the playoffs. Comes back this year. He's immediately, like out of nowhere, thrown into Team USA because of Corbin Carroll's injury. They make it all the way to the championship. Comes to the Red Sox after that, and is immediately just like, yeah, you're hitting leadoff, and you're pretty much our entire team moves with how you move. Like it's incredibly unfortunate that he has this amount of pressure. And the positive note is that he's like every interview you have, he's had like post game with like his struggles with hitting and his struggles with defense. He's been nothing but accountable. So that perspective, that's great. But it's just like this really feels like a Red Sox issue.
Yes.
That's like being put on Anthony, and like I bet in a month from now we're gonna laugh back on this. But it's just really poor roster construction and management.
Yeah.
I know that we were talking a lot about you brought up John Henry, but you brought up, him saying, oh, people are just going to keep showing up no matter what, right? They're going to just buy the concessions. They're going to buy, the lobster poutine. And then earlier we were talking about, all we want is a glorious, good, solid number 2, right? So that being said, I just want to take this moment to plug our Instagram. If you haven't gone on there and checked it out, Jordan did a review of the lobster poutine. If you want to talk about a solid number 2 and buying and putting extra money into John Henry's pocket. So go ahead and take a little gander over there if you don't mind, and give us a follow. We've been collaborating with a lot of other awesome content creators on there. We are currently we just hit 500 followers on there. We've gained about 300 followers this week.
Nice.
I think so. Yeah, a lot of movement on that side of things. A lot of players have been collaborating with us on posting their highlights from the minor leagues, which has been really cool. And just really trying to build out the space that we have on there. So if you haven't taken a moment, really appreciate it if you could give us a follow on Instagram at the Pesky Report. Like I said, the graphics have been taking a step up. I'm not going to take any credit for that because I'm not talented in that way. Shout out to Nate from We Talk Sox. Nate Talks Sox on Instagram, and shout out to Jason Stilakis, who's been helping out with that graphics as well. They've been doing an awesome job, and we've been posting minor league baseball highlights on there. Shout out to Hunter for clipping all the highlights and posting that out on Twitter so that we can then recycle the content for our Instagram, and it's going really, really well. So appreciate all of the support over there, and yeah, that's the Instagram plug. All right. I'll ask you, Isiah, did you think there was any chance that Mizorowski wasn't going to strike out 26 batters against us on what was it, freaking Tuesday?
Oh my God, those first 2 innings, maybe even 3 were brutal. It was like 8 out of 9, or it was something ridiculous. I remember like at one point, I want to say it was Rafaela. Could be wrong, but he didn't strike out. He like hit a soft grounder to second, and I was like,
It was Rafaela. First person not to strike out. It was like 8 straight strikeouts.
I was like, progress. But yeah, that was something. And then to see like Crochet just like bear down, even though it felt like he didn't actually have his best stuff. The
Mhm.
fact that he can not have his best stuff and just completely dominate like that and kind of work through it is, oh my God, it's incredible. It's such a luxury.
Yeah, when they kept him out there and he was already over 100 pitches, I'm like, wow, this is a little bit risky. Third start of the year, and we're leaving him out there for another batter over
Desperate.
100 pitches. And then he went out for another batter. Of course, then that batter he ends up hitting. So it really just, it's really one extra pitch. But I was like, man, this is a little bold strategy out here with Crochet. But I mean, it worked out. He's got a 3.12 ERA on the year. He's 2-1.
Let's go, Cy Young. Because didn't Scooble get like rocked the other day? So
I looked and I think he still somehow has like a low 3.2. So I
Of
think
course.
they're
I
the
mean,
same
yeah,
ballpark. But it's all right. He's gonna get traded at the deadline because the Tigers suck this year.
it's
So we'll
true.
go to the NL and we'll get our AL Cy Young for
Scooble is 1-2, but he's got a 2.55 ERA.
Jesus,
yeah.
of course he does. Yeah, and don't worry, he's gonna be a Dodger come July. So the rich get richer. Must be nice. Ugh.
He's gonna make so much money. It's
Oh
crazy.
yeah, 500 mil plus, I think easily.
Yeah,
which
I mean,
is
with Sonny
insane.
Gray's 20 million off the books right there, that's half of his annual salary we could afford. So I mean,
Oh my
maybe we'll go after him.
I mean, between Sandoval, Gray, and IKF, that's got to be
Oh yeah, that's his whole
35.
thing right there.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah.
I would forgive John Henry and allow him to laugh in the face of everybody if somehow Tarek Skubal is pitching. Like the idea of like where's our number 2? Well, no, our number 2 is Garrett Crochet. So because we have Tarek Skubal.
I would be so annoyed. Cool with John Henry. I'd be like, dude, we spent all this money on pitching and we're gonna have Trevor Story in the 2-hole in
Yeah.
2027 while we pay Ranger Suarez to be our 3 at $27 million a year.
Oh my God, that's a lot of lefties. Holy shit, we'd have 4 lefties if
Oh my God, I know.
early sticks. That's actually insane.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
Tully.
Holy
Totally.
shit, just
Yeah.
all lefties. Our starting 5.
Yeah, and then the minor leagues, we've got like 20 other guys behind him, but I think the next couple of guys other than Tolley that are coming up are right-handed that are
Well, that's good.
making names.
Yeah, like
right now,
everyone
so,
besides Jake Bennett is like a righty.
All right, that's good.
yeah. I believe there was one other person who's a lefty too, who was I can't remember who it was, but it was someone who I remembered seeing the name, and I was like, oh, that's right, I forgot they were a lefty, but I can't remember who it was. But yeah, it's like mostly righties. Speaking of righties, Juan Valera today. I don't want to steal the minor league guys' stuff, but Juan Valera struck out 9 in like friggin' 5 innings or something like that, and he had 102 miles an hour on one of his strikeouts, averaging triple digits on quite a few of them. Stuff was filthy. So
Incredibly efficient
for that.
too. Like that's pretty weird to it's pretty rare to let a Greenville guy go 5 innings, but the dude was like throwing like 10 pitches an inning and still striking out 3 an inning. I think I saw a tweet about him striking out 3, I think, in the first inning with 10 pitches. And I was like, all right, let's lock in. And yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah, just baller status. I mean, to have another guy coming up that can throw 102, like he at one point was a top 100 prospect. He'll be a top 100 prospect again. There's just no reason that he can't be. Him and Anthony Ianson, who has been looking phenomenal in spring so far. Excited to see where they land on the prospect rankings. John Holobitz has been looking really, really good as well, but this is not a prospect show, so won't spend too much time talking about that. But I just want to give those guys a shout out because that was on my mind today, and just cool to see that we have this like wave of talent. Like the guy we were so excited talking about coming into the season was Kyson Witherspoon, and he didn't even have the greatest of outings, but there's just so many other guys that are having phenomenal phenomenal years, and the hype is building. So the pitching pipeline is looking pretty strong. And whether that's we use those guys to go trade for a bat, I mean, hey,
We'll see.
be nice. We'll see.
But it's
We'll
nice
see.
to see pitching in this minor league system because the
Oh my
last
God.
good pitcher developed was the year 2002, and his name was John Lester. So like
You know,
Yeah.
Brian
truly.
Bayo. I mean,
You mean that's a 16 whiff, Brian Bayo, to you?
His Brian Bayo's
those
season has
whiffs
been
are
weird
crazy.
so far. It has been weird but I don't know. I mean, it's like Brian Bayo to me is like a solid 4. So if you can develop a solid 4, that's great. But like truly, there hasn't been this much excitement around pitching since the days of Lester and Buckles. Really.
Oh my God,
So,
yeah. I've had plenty of gripes with some of the stuff that Craig's done, but when he came in the organization, he's completely revitalized like the pitching
for sure.
infrastructure from the
Undoubtedly.
bottom down. Has done a phenomenal job. Like we probably, have one of the best like pitching prospects like group in baseball, and it's like guys in low A all the way up to triple A, and like it makes it so like, hey, we can call up a guy like Tolley this year. We have early in the starting rotation currently, and then 2 or 3 years you got like these 3 young like stud right-handing pitching prospects that can kind of come in and kind of climb in as the older vets are getting older. But yeah, he's, with all the gripes, he's done an absolutely phenomenal job with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see, when all's said and done with Craig, if we look back and say, yeah, those trades, most of the trades he made worked out, or if it's truly going to be, the Crochet trade worked out, everything else, it'll be interesting just to kind of see how some of those other trades, like right now, Oviedo already down on the IL, going to miss several weeks.
Yeah.
And that trade, not necessarily the greatest at that point, for us, but it was worth it at the time. But we
Yeah.
also in that trade got Tyler Samaniego,
Mhm.
who made his MLB debut during this series as well. So he looked really good. He struck out the
did.
side
Blowing
in
him
his
away.
debut, which is pretty cool. And again, another lefty arm in the bullpen, which wasn't even someone that we were necessarily planning on being a part of the team, but he made his MLB debut. It's pretty cool. We had another MLB debut during this series. So we actually had 2 during this series. So shout out to Tyler Huberstein, who made his MLB debut as well on Monday, I believe it was.
So I hate to correct you, but it was act on
Oh,
Sunday against the
no.
Padres. Yeah.
Rest
I was
in
at-
peace.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
guys. Nice knowing you. Thanks for
How
letting
dare
me come
you.
on the show.
Screwing up these series.
Just
I only know because
Just
I was at the
pause that.
game and they put Mason Miller in the 9th. I said,
Ugh.
I told my sister, I was like, let's go.
Yeah,
It's
we're
a
done.
wrap.
I like turned the TV off. I was like, this game is over. And my mom's like, what? And I was like, no, it's done.
Wrap.
Mason Miller is unfair.
Yep. They gave up so much for him though, because holy shit.
Yeah,
Like I will just say Preller is on all the drugs because it's looking like, there's so many people on the internet now that are just like completely pissed with Dustin May and the fact that we made the Dodgers get richer because, we ended up giving away, who was it? What was his name?
Tibbs.
Tibbs the third. And I'm just like, these are also AAA numbers. So like, let's slow our rolls. If all of a sudden, and where is he going to play in the Dodgers? I don't see how he's going to possibly, unless, finally they give up and realize Kike Hernandez is of zero value. And they're like, man, talk about a guy who somehow has 3 World Series rings. The luckiest human on planet Earth is Kike Hernandez, I think.
You want to talk
But
about a vibes guy? That guy's gotten paid so much money off just being the nicest, funniest guy.
Yeah, and he's got 3 rings for it, so good for him on it. It's absolutely wild to me. But
He's always like in the top 20 of like most bought jerseys
right?
too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, people no, like Dodgers fans like are obsessed with Kike. Like if we thought like we liked Brock Holt, that's nothing. Like the way they love Kike Hernandez. It's crazy.
You know what's hilarious? Kike Hernandez right now on MLB.com listed as a first baseman. That's funny.
That is funny. Has he ever done first base ever?
I have no idea if
Yeah.
he's done first base, but I'm
I
about to
don't
find
know.
out because
Yeah.
that's like Rob Refsnyder being announced as when the
Right.
Mariners signed him. They're like, we've signed DH/outfielder/ first baseman Rob Refsnyder.
And we're like,
Like what?
"Oh."
So
But,
in
yeah.
2024, he's
He
played
played?
first base quite a bit.
Oh, okay. All right.
He played
Kike,
28
good for
games
you.
last year at first base.
Really? Shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Good for him. I mean, I know he always comes up clutch somehow. It's just completely. It's just like unfathomable that a guy that like carries such a blah, it just gets to play for the best team occasionally.
Yeah.
Whenever it's
Career
just
236 average.
crazy, and he gets to just collect
Yeah,
his rings.
pull up that average in the postseason though.
It's probably like 800, and he's out here. Him and
true.
Pages, making great catches. Absolutely insane. But yeah, the Red Sox.
His postseason
what is it?
accumulative batting. Here we go.
Barry Bonds level.
279 average, 339 on base, 825 OPS.
Yeah.
I somehow thought it was higher than that, though. The way that you think
16 home runs.
that's what's crazy. Like,
yeah,
that's
the slug. He's got a super high slug for the player he's been in his career.
Mm.
Yeah, 46 slug.
46 slug in
It's
the
just like,
postseason.
yeah.
Crazy.
No, he's definitely got it. All right. So bringing it back around on the series, game one, that was that game was all over the place,
game?
but that was it was. Yeah. So starts out with Bayo, goes 3 innings, gives up three earned runs. It was really just 4 runs, and that ballooned his ERA up to 9. He did have 5 strikeouts though,
which is crazy.
Yeah, and like was it 15 whiffs, Matt?
Whiffs?
I think
it was 18 in his last start. So let me see what it was this time here.
So where is this disconnect? If it's like he's getting the whiffs.
Well, he's been historically not a good pitcher in April. So that is part of the equation here. It is good that he's generating all these whiffs.
Yeah, because he's usually not. This is like the first time he's doing something like this.
So I'm hoping it's a place where they can kind of find a middle ground between, hey, pitch to, poor contact, but also, keep generating these whiffs. And, maybe pitch more than 3 innings would be
lovely.
Sick. But he, from last year too, he started off pretty bad too. So it's like we talked about earlier, it's a little tough sometimes to gauge these guys when they're throwing like 35 degrees in Boston. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's so
he was
true.
Up to, he had 16 swing and misses through the 3 innings that he had.
Wow.
He might have added some additional ones there, but that was that strike, and then that was that start. The start before that, which was his season debut, he had 18 whiffs. Or that wasn't his start before that. That was his in his season debut. That would have been his season debut. So
yeah, because this was just his second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was looking back, like he had some excellent starts in 2024. And I was looking at like some of the pitching summaries there, and there was multiple call outs for him, like 15 whiffs. And that was like, mid-season form. So it's not like he's never touched it before. I saw at least 2 starts in 2024 where he had 15 whiffs, but he's not normally a swing and miss
2024 or
guy.
2025?
24.
Interesting.
So I don't know if he's going back to what he was in 2024, where 2025 he had definitely saw his strikeout percentage come way down. But I mean, he just needs to kind of bring some things under control. I know that this offseason he was working with a couple of different people, as well as introducing a few new pitches to his arsenal. So I think that could be maybe playing a part here.
Yeah, the cutter looked fantastic so far. it's strange. It's like, coming up, it was like that, a good nasty sinker with that bite and a really good changeup. And then it was like, cool, 2024, 2025, he had like that really good sweeper. It's like, cool, now he's got these 3 good pitches. And then it's like, okay, now we're kind of losing, the changeup isn't as good as it once was, but the sweeper's gotten better. And now he's like added the cutter, but the sweeper's not as good. So it's like, is there a way we can find like all 4 pitches, have them all good at like 1 point? Like,
Yeah, get them together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think from Bayleigh, like obviously they pulled him with the bases loaded, and then Danny Colomb came in and gave up like all the runs. So
Yeah.
like
Oof.
I won't completely blame Bayleigh for everything. Like he did load the bases with walks there at the end, and so
Yeah.
like that obviously like they are his responsibility.
They kill
But
you.
like it looks like he had a meltdown for those 3 earned runs, and he really didn't have. It really wasn't that poor of an outing. It just he started to lose control in the 4th inning.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But like
and it's
Go ahead.
nice that he's and it's nice that our rotation is so stacked that it's like, okay, you can kind of let Bayleigh work through some of this, and he's not our ace. Like he's our number
Yeah.
4 or 5. Like
Which
it-
is
it
so
is-
nice.
yeah. Instead of like 3 years ago when he was starting opening day, and we all knew that he was not at all ready for that.
Yeah, it was he was a big step up from Corey Kluber though. The year
Yeah,
before,
that's
so.
true.
That is that. I just think it's like we've been starting off like not great, but the idea is still that like in this series we had incredible starts from Crochet, and not even Crochet at his best. Like we saw him struggle, and he still was great. And then we saw one hell of a start from Sonny Gray. And then it's like if you're like, oh, okay, you have those 2 people pitching like as 1 and 2s, and then at some point Rangers got to figure it out. Like, it's been Ranger relies on control, and his control is just not there yet. And then it's like, oh, if Bayleigh is truly your 4, like you said, it allows you to just let him have a couple of stinkers and just hope your offense can maybe have a good night. Because that's the thing is it's like this offense, it's like, what is this offense? I don't think any of us really know because there's been so much tinkering, and there's been our 5 outfielders and sitting this person, sitting that person. Like, what is the consistency that's going to score runs enough for you to, win a Bayleigh start if he, kind of only maybe goes 3 or 4 and is struggling throughout it?
Yeah, I think this game, and this is probably the last note I have on this one, is that the offense showed a lot of life of coming back,
Yes,
and coming
it
back,
did.
and coming back in this one. We scored 6 runs. I think that was the most runs we scored in a game for the entire season so far, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to stat check myself there on that one. But Roman had 2 hits. Contreras had 3 hits. And it was really the top of the lineup doing it. Durbin had 2 hits, raising his average all the way up to 125 after that game.
Let's go.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough. The bullpen did give up the lead, unfortunately. Garrett Whitlock uncharacteristically giving up 2 runs. He walked 2, struck out 2, but he got the loss. And it was just that was just such a frustrating game. Like I just
vibes were
watching
bad.
I mean, we put up 5 on Brandon Woodruff, and we should have been able to win that game. Like,
yeah. That was like the when it rains it pours seemingly type game, because it's going from bad to worse, and it's like, okay, the offense is coming alive, but now our pitching is crapping itself, and it's like sort of things couldn't really be together like on the same track. But now it's like, okay, we just had a really good series overall, so it's like, okay, maybe taking the 2 out of 3 can sort of put them on that right alignment, and it can all go together well going into. And the Cardinals are bad. If they don't score off of Dustin May with his 15 ERA, I might say the season's done. Not serious, obviously, but
I mean, we'll see what happens, but we do have a lefty offense, and he's a righty. So I mean, I feel pretty good about that. I feel like if he was a lefty,
yeah, it'd be trickier for sure. Yeah.
that'd be a little different. But
Agreed, but he also throws the ball hard and has like good movement on his slider, which we're not good at hitting high velocity either. So
the good news is that Dustin May also can't hit the strike zone. So we pretty much just like, it's like hydrogen bomb meets coughing baby. So
It's so crazy to think about, like, going back when people wanted like May and Lux for bets and were pissed about the return. It's like everybody that at that core of like Dodger prospects, the only one that they could have gotten that would have been of value, I think, would have been Will Smith. Almost every other Dodger product that we were going to get back for Mookie Betts has been doggy do. So it's like just like the revisionist history of going back and being like, oh, Lux and May, why didn't we get them? And it's like, oh well, we saw what Dustin May gave us.
Yeah.
Well, Connor Wong, don't forget.
It's true. He's hitting up a storm. It's
his batting average. If I had to put a line at 380, would you say it's higher or lower this?
It's probably higher because I've seen him get some knocks. He's been getting in doubles.
It is higher. If I said his OPS line was 950, would you say that it is higher or lower?
I'm gonna say it's higher.
It is higher. It's 1129.
All right. Well, look at that. I bet Mookie Betts isn't hitting that well.
Mookie Betts, yeah,
he's on the IL.
He's on the injured list.
Yeah. I said that the wrong side of 30 is hitting him like a freight train. Like, damn.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy, but
he's got 4 rings. I think he'll survive.
Maybe James Tibbs III can play shortstop or wherever he's been playing.
Maybe because he'd just be hitting so much. But it's like funny now. Everybody's talking about the return and how it was actually a good return, but then he just gave the return back to everybody else.
Not a Dodgers pod, but Hyun Kim, who they called up to replace him, can't be like the biggest downgrade in history as far as the player. But anyways,
no, if Kyle Harrison had thrown against us this weekend and like shoved,
exactly,
I would have probably not watched any more baseball this year. I would have just
or Quinn Priester.
Well, yeah, but Quinn was good for a whole year last year. Like,
yeah, he was good.
But like Kyle Harrison, dog, like no. I can't have it.
It's true.
And all of a sudden, like Hamilton is like good at playing baseball. Like
I think he's like WAR-wise, their best player so far this year, which is sick.
Oh, absolutely insane.
Dropping down, learn how to bunt over an off season was a nice little
Doesn't that tell you that the Red Sox maybe need better coaching? Jesus.
Yeah, the Hamilton situation does actually remind me. The last thing we'll say about the first game was that was the Contreras game where he got hit by a pitch by Woodruff again.
Yes.
6th time in his career. Was relatively mad at that. And that situation was, you just see a big angry Wilson Contreras running at David Hamilton and like trying to kill him at second base was something. I was like, don't hurt him.
I'm never a fan of, after seeing what Pedroia went through and how it ruined his career, I'm never a fan of coming spikes up on anybody. Like, do you want to go in?
We can all say that was a dirty slide from Contreras. I think that's. I don't think there's any.
Personally, I'm a hypocrite. Yeah, when my team does something wrong, it doesn't count.
Of course, you're like, I love it, but yeah, it's a dirty slide. But
I learned this. Well, I was going to say I learned this from San Diego Padres fans over the weekend because I tweeted out a video of Manny Machado kicking the ball away from Contreras in the first. I think it was a Sunday game that had happened against them. Probably the game you were at, Isiah. And in that clip, I just said dirtiest player in the game, and I just tweeted out this, and the amount of Padres fans that were just in that in that clip being like, what's dirty about this? There's nothing wrong with kicking the ball away. Like all this stuff, like, oh, maybe your guy should have thrown the ball better. And just like, I was like, all right, whatever. But I knew as soon as Contreras slid that I was going to start getting people commenting on that video being like, who's the dirtiest player in the league now? And they just pictures of Contreras. And sure enough, there was a few that returned to the comment section. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't like slides like that because you can hurt somebody as badly. It's like I'm all for like I wish you could go in hard, but you can't do that anymore because of Chase Utley. But it's like you should never be going in spikes up. I'm sorry.
The fact that he did to a previous Red Sox player that like was pretty liked too was pretty right. That was an interesting little addition to the story.
He just was collateral damage, unfortunately. Just
You're
got
in the
got
way
right
of
in the
my
way.
cleats.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It was nice that someone cared for like those 5 minutes when that was all going down.
Yeah, I like I don't like going in spikes up because I don't think you should do that, but
Agreed.
I like
Agreed.
the fire that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has. I was like the whole time he's like freaking out. I'm like, obviously, I love that like nobody was like near him because they were like,
No.
just let this man like rage out. But at the same time, I'm like, can somebody like rein him in so he doesn't get thrown out of this game?
Yeah, he's like one guy that's hit the ball out of the infield so far this season. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've already talked about game 2 quite a bit. This was the Crochet and Mizorowski start. So we talked about that a bit. I think it's good to say that Roldis Chapman looks just as good this year as he did in previous years. So, feel good about that. He hasn't been striking out as many batters this year as he did in the past, but it could just be attributed to
His
being early in the year.
fastball velocity is down a bit, but they sound like they're not concerned about it at all, and it's just throwing 28 degrees on a Saturday night. So.
Yeah, I think it's just a cold thing. Didn't he say at one point like he couldn't even really feel the ball, and it was like, well, it's leaving my hand. I don't know how fast or where it's going, and you're just kind of praying.
Yeah, he's been in 5 games. He has 3 saves, and then he only has 3 strikeouts.
Yeah,
like that's a little weird, but again, I'm not concerned about it. Like ultimately,
yeah. I want some warm weather.
Speaking of low strikeouts, as we move on to game 3, Sonny Gray has had a lack of strikeouts, and that really hasn't stopped him from being pretty damn good the last 2 starts.
Yeah, no, looking awesome. Like I am a big Sonny Gray person. Like I hated when Sonny Gray went to the Yankees apparently as much as Sonny Gray hated going to the Yankees. So love it. So when this offseason they were like trade for Sonny Gray, I'm like, oh yes. Like I wanted Sonny. I feel like everybody was like, oh, the pressure of New York, blah, blah, blah. Sonny like feels like a Boston guy, like a guy that'll like thrive here and like want to thrive here. So I was so excited to have Sonny here and for him to 2 out of 3. Even that first start really wasn't even that bad. He struggled a little bit in the cold, but then he was able to kind of like right the ship a little bit. And then these last 2 have just been so much what you want to see. Like he looks like a number 2. It's like Crochet Gray. Like I'm loving it so far.
Yeah, I think that obviously he made like the boneheaded error play in the first game.
Yeah, his own worst enemy with that one. Yeah, but
he didn't look bad. Like
no.
that just unfortunately padded his stat line a little bit higher, and goes to show that's why he has a 2.76 ERA on the year so far.
And then
he looks
that's a 2.76 that like he got kind of screwed with the that drop by Rafaela with the sun that caused him 2 runs. Like not saying that's like all Rafaela's fault. I'm just saying like it should even be actually lower. But
that's true. That's true. We were at that game. Revisionist history, but I support it. We definitely were not prepared for the sun. How's your sunburn from that game?
It's better now. I think we're good. I still still got a little sun cruisers in my breath, probably here and there, but otherwise it's fine.
Fun fact: we were in like 70-degree weather for the opening day game, and then Portland's over here with the opening day getting snowed out.
That's great.
Snow delay.
That's New England, baby.
You gotta love it. But yeah, that is a good call out on the strikeouts for Sonny Gray. It'll be interesting to see if as warm weather increases his spin, because his spin's been out of control. So I mean, I feel like it's just a matter of time before he continues to get swing and miss, from his stuff. But
that's why it's so nice to have a vet like him, where he's been in baseball so long that like when it's it's like the polar opposite of Bayleigh, was like trying to find himself when like he's not at his best. He's getting like swings and misses. Like Gray can just be like, hey, I don't have my swing and miss stuff right now. All right, we're just gonna focus on bad contact and just like ground balls, and he's been great for us, And I, like you said, I think I'd be shocked if the strikeouts didn't come back. I mean, this dude's had over 200 Ks the last 2 seasons each year. So,
some upcoming milestones for him too. He's actually going to hit, if all goes well this season, 2,000 innings pitched and 2,000 strikeouts. He's currently sitting at 1,934.1 innings pitched, So just 65.2 innings away, and strikeouts, he is only 65 strikeouts away from 2,000. So
Nice.
looks like he'll hit those milestones with the Red Sox if all goes well. Even at this rate that he's at, he would hit that this year. So be kind of cool.
Nice. And we love a short king that can go out there and do his thing. Because I love it because everybody's like, oh, if you're not, 6'2" and above, like why even try to pitch? And I was like, Sonny Gray's out here being 5'10" if he's lucky.
Yeah, there's no way that Sonny Gray wasn't gonna do well in the short king city. Like,
yeah,
he's in Boston.
we love it.
First.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have any other thoughts on the series before we preview the upcoming one and make predictions?
Just excited to see them play good baseball.
And beat a good team.
Yeah, a very good team. Yeah, very true.
And in true Red Sox fashion, we'll probably lose the series to a bad team, which we are about to go face. But we are facing the St. Louis Cardinals, our favorite, Craig's bestie.
Yes.
Chaim Bloom. The Little League trade partners, as some are saying. I guess Craig and Chaim were cooking up trades at their kids' Little League games because they were both living in Boston, and over the off season they were at these games and stuff all the time.
It's interesting that Chaim's family is still rooted here, but I guess when your kids are young and you don't want to pull them out of school, you're like, well, I guess they're staying here.
Yeah, he just commutes. I mean, that job, there's only some of it that needs to be in person. Let's be honest.
Very true.
You come in a couple days a week. The rest of it can be remote. Like it's fine.
I'm curious if Craig knows that he can call and talk to more than like 5 teams. I don't like. Has he reached that stage
there's
yet?
other people. Maybe they don't take his calls. Yeah.
It's true, but this upcoming series we do have Connerly early going on Friday, Ranger Suarez on Saturday, and Brian Bayo Sunday for the header. And then we've got going up against us Dustin May, Kyle Lee,
We'll find out during the broadcast.
and Andre Palante. You guys have any predictions?
Sweep. Let's go. First sweep.
I feel good about a sweep, actually, to be honest with you.
Just need the offense to hit. Like, that's really it. Then I think it's an easy sweep.
Yeah, it feels like we have the upper hand with pitching for this this series. I'm gonna go 2 out of 3. Quick plug. My last prediction was correct, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
I mean, I'll take 2 out of 3. I just want to win every series. Just win series. Sweeps are lovely, but play well enough to maybe they lose the Bayo game. Like, I think Ranger's gonna have his comeback, and it's gonna be a good start. I just don't know how cold it's supposed to be in St. Louis. Like, that's the only thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Well, I do feel pretty good about the pitching. Pitching gets harder as the series goes on because Dustin May has like a 9 or ERA or something ridiculous. Then Kyle Leahy has a 5.4 ERA with a 4.98 FIP, so pretty accurate there. But as we get to the finale, we do have Andre Palante, a 1.8 ERA. So he's actually doing well to start the year. A couple of starts so far. 4.2 FIP, though. So when you talk about maybe he's getting a little bit lucky out there on the mound, it certainly could be the case. Just confirmed Dustin May's ERA is a 15.95. So it's a little bit off there. The FIP is a 6.45. So he is getting unlucky. He should only have a 6 ERA. So this should be a fun game tomorrow. I will be licking my chops. I mean, looking forward to it. Also, fun fact: Dustin May is my age, so that's fun.
Isn't it crazy? It's crazy when they're like young. Most of them are like younger than me now, and I'm just all like, "Ugh, God." I feel so old. At least Sonny Gray's slightly older than me, so I'm like, yay.
Yeah, it's weird to be like, this person looks like they're ancient, and then I'm like, oh, they're my age. That's fun.
Yeah,
I'm not-
well, when they look older and they're younger than me, that makes me feel good.
Yeah, every time I look at myself in Garrett Crochet, I'm like, all right, that dude just looks like he's been 30 for a minute now. Just a
Yeah.
man. Just
When they
hoss.
mentioned that he was 26 the other day, my mom's like, that's all he is. I was like, yeah, he's just 6'6", bald, and has a giant
Yeah.
beard. So yeah, it looks a lot older.
Garrett Crochet is such a beast. Like, and by the way, this is my final thought. Oh wait, did we all give predictions? I'm going
Yes.
sweep
Oh,
with
you.
Bayleigh.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. I think if Kevin was here, he would go with a sweep too. So I
course.
gotta represent. I want to give a shout out to, I want to say, Alex Cora for spilling the beans on what the on base celebration is for the team.
It's the dance, I guess.
It's mocking Roman Anthony's TikTok dance from back in the day
Hey,
when he
all
was
I
in high
can
school.
say, he's got some moves. He was.
Yeah. So
was
if you
doing
haven't
his
seen
thing.
it,
That's how he hurt his
look up,
arm.
look up Roman Anthony TikTok. But all the moves they're doing, the like double hip thrust, the shushing, there's like a couple other moves and stuff. They're all doing them, and it's pretty great. But they pick and choose, I guess. So depending on like what they're feeling, they just do one of the moves. And in the dugout, you can see like they'll cut to shots of all the guys doing like different dance moves from that video in the dugout. Crochet is probably the one that started all of this, I feel like, because he's just that type of guy. So yeah, fun. It is fun. It's also kind of funny to see like Trevor's story doing it, and
Yeah.
like the fact
This
that he
old
even knows
man.
what TikTok is. Like, yeah, he's just out there on second base, like humping the air. It's fun. Anyways, that's my final thought. You guys have any final thoughts?
I don't know. I'm excited that they're playing well. Continue to play well. That's what I need. Like, that's my final thought. Just go kick the Cardinals' ass.
Yeah, my final thought is baseball is such a long season. Like, there's so many highs and lows and waves. Like last week, I was like, all right, how are we gonna rebuild the Red Sox? And now I'm like, all right, we're only a game and a half out of the wild card, And we have 100. There's 150 games left. Like 150 games left. I hate
There's
this
plenty
sport,
of time.
and I hate how much it affects like my summer, my mental well-being. And I've already been miserable and I've already been ecstatic, and there's still 150 games left.
True roller coaster.
Why did I ever choose this sport?
Very true. Well, hopefully we come back singing another happy tune after we play not only the Cardinals, but then the Twins right in a row. And the Twins are another bad baseball team. Even though they did just sweep, they just completed a 4-game sweep of the Tigers, though, so that was a little weird. So TBD on that, I guess. But yeah, some teams that we should be able to at least win half of the games against coming up. So on behalf of the Pesky Report and Beyond the Monster, we appreciate everyone tuning in and listening. With that, wow, I just can't speak right now. But yeah, this is Matthew. We got Isiah and Bayleigh. Yeah, appreciate everyone. We'll see you next week. Go Sox.
Like, this is called the Pesky Report. Like,